lantern.
Pew, 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 pew.
Mike, turn off your video games. We are going to watch a slideshow.
I can't now, don't you see? I'm surrounded by enemies.
I've had enough of your shooting games. Mike, turn it off right now. If you don't, you'll wake up a horrible giant, and you'll regret it for sure.
And what kind of giant is that? You're joking, right?
No, I'm not joking. Giants hate it when someone makes too much noise, especially the noises. So be quiet. Switching on the magic lantern. Beowulf, based on the epic poem Beowulf. Hrothgar, the king of the Danes, was very rich. So he built the most beautiful palace in the world to let everyone know how rich he was.
Kate, giants don't exist, right?
Warriors had parties in that palace, day and night. They sang songs about their adventures and had fireworks.
These giants, I mean the ones that don't exist, do you think they're really bad?
The noise coming from the palace woke up the terrible giant, Grendel. Grendel hated it whenever someone made too much noise.
I see. They are bad.
In the early morning, when everyone was asleep, the giant sneaked into the palace and dragged away 3 of the best warriors. And no one could stop him.
Who's gonna stop that monster?
And the same thing happened every night. The warriors had their parties, and afterward, Grendel would take a couple of them away to the forest.
Kate, this is just a fairy tale, right?
A prince from a neighboring country heard the news about the terrible giant. The prince's name was Beowulf, and it had been a long time since the prince had performed a good deed.
That prince should fight that giant!
A victory over that giant is exactly what I need, decided Beowulf. He got on a ship and went to save Denmark.
Hey, Kate, is Denmark, like, really far away?
Well, it's not far for a giant. When he arrived, the Danish warriors laughed at Beowulf. It was impossible to win a battle with Grendel. He was way too big. But Beowulf didn't listen to them. He hid himself in the palace and waited for the giant to show up. When the warriors fell asleep, Grendel came to the palace.
Dear Beowulf, please, please defeat that giant!
Beowulf jumped out of his hiding place and took out his sword. Despicable giant, you are challenged by, began Beowulf.
Come on, you can do it!
But the giant didn't let Beowulf finish talking. Grendel swung his huge club, and Beowulf rolled head over heels across the floor.
Get up, Beowulf!
Grendel got ready for his next blow. Now Beowulf was in real danger. Our hero would be lost forever.
I can't watch, it's too much!
Suddenly, Beowulf had a great idea. Grendel doesn't like noise. Hey, start singing and shooting off fireworks right now!
Make noise? That's his idea?
The knights started singing. Fireworks started cracking outside. And Beowulf stomped and clapped his hands together.
Now the giant is gonna get really angry.
What a terrible noise! Grendel covered his ears and ran away from the palace.
He did it!
And no one has ever seen him since that night. Beowulf stayed with the Knights of Hrothgar at the palace, joined in on their parties, listened to their songs, and then went on to do more good deeds.
You hear that? There's no such thing as giants after all. You made it up to scare me, didn't you?
Well, Mike, if you yell any louder, then we'll find out if I made him up or not. So, are you going to play your shooting games?
Don't yell. I'm not gonna play. I don't want to play games anymore, at least not today. Let's watch another slideshow instead. but we have to be quiet.
Magic lantern. Okay, Mike, stop playing. Now we are going to see a slideshow.
I know when I need to stop. I am not a little kid.
Yes, you are a little kid. Give me the controller.
When you want me to tidy up the room, I'm a big boy. But when I play video games, I'm a little kid.
Okay, then go pick up your toys. Uh-huh, so you don't want to. Then give me the controller and let's watch. Switching on the magic lantern. Gulliver in the Country of the Lilliputians, based on a book by Jonathan Swift. Little Gulliver dreamed about traveling, but in order to be able to travel, he had to first grow up. So, he would always carry a ruler with him. That way, he could find out how much he's grown every day.
Good idea, so no one calls me little.
Well, Gulliver finally grew up and went on a trip. The ship got caught in a terrible storm, and Gulliver got washed overboard.
What's a storm?
Huge waves. You don't know what a storm is? I thought that you said you were big. A huge wave threw Gulliver ashore onto a beach. I'm alive, thought Gulliver happily, and fell asleep.
Phew, he was lucky.
When Gulliver finally woke up, he couldn't move at all. He saw that his body was tied up with thousands of small ropes. He was stuck.
It's probably a gigantic spider.
Gulliver looked around and saw a whole bunch of little men, and every one of them was wearing small yellow boots.
Wow, they are tiny.
The place where Gulliver washed ashore was a very small country. Everything there was small. Even the people that lived there were little people. See, Mike? You would be the biggest little man there in Lilliput.
No, I am not a little man, but maybe you are a giant.
This is great! Gulliver was happy. It's just that I'm hungry. The little people brought him 300 sandwiches and 10 barrels of hot chocolate.
That's what you have for breakfast every morning.
After breakfast, Gulliver measured all the little people with his ruler. They were 6 inches tall. He started preparing for the trip home.
Kate, you better watch your step where you walk, you know. You might squash someone.
But then, the Lilliput King himself came to see Gulliver. He ordered Gulliver to go to the neighboring island and scare all the little people there.
See? All the little people are afraid of you.
Why? Gulliver was surprised. Because they don't want to wear yellow boots, said the Lilliput King. And here's Mike, so little, yet he thinks he's so big, and he argues about small things. All right, I'll go, said Gulliver, and went to the neighboring island. Gulliver brought 100 pairs of yellow boots to the people of that island, and he told everyone to put them on.
And you're a...
Can't think of anything, can you? But the little people there threw out the yellow boots and put on their green ones again.
You're a lamppost!
What? Apologize now. The king got very angry. Go back over there and scare them some more! He shouted at Gulliver. No, answered Gulliver. You go and make peace with them, otherwise I'll scare you.
No, I'm not going to apologize.
All right then, I won't show you any more slideshows. The little people then decided to make up with each other. As a sign of friendship, they exchanged their boots. Now, they all wore one green boot and one yellow boot. You are worse than those little people. And Gulliver found a big boat and sailed home. Once he got home, he told everyone about the little people, but no one there believed him. It's impossible, said everyone, that they would wear one green boot and one yellow boot.
Okay, Kate, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry too. Now I can see that you're not that little. You've actually grown up.
Yeah! You want to see how tall I am?
Lantern. Okay, Mike, turn off the video game. We are going to watch a slideshow now.
It's not fair. I haven't completed this level yet.
I said we are watching a slideshow.
Okay. I hope it's like a computer game, you know, with monsters and knights and cool stuff like that.
Well, let's see. Oh, this is a story just like that, with knights and monsters, just the way you want it. Switching on the magic lantern. Don Quixote, based on the book by Miguel Cervantes. Little Don Quixote liked reading books about knights more than anything in this world. So much that sometimes he forgot to eat or even to sleep.
Oh, just like me. Only I like playing games with knights, not reading books about them.
One day, Don Quixote decided, now I'm going to become a knight and I will fight evil giants.
So he became a knight? But he doesn't have any skills.
He made himself a wooden spear, a cardboard sword, and he put a brass pot on his head. He looked just like a real knight.
But his armor is weak. Who would want to play with a knight like that?
Suddenly, Don Quixote remembered that a real knight needs a sword bearer to carry his sword and his spear.
Well, go ahead. Pick a sword bearer. You better pick someone with magic powers from level 3.
Just then, his friend, Sancho Panza, who was a baker, was passing by. Will you come with me to fight giants? Asked Don Quixote.
No, he's a baker. He wouldn't know anything about fighting giants.
Sancho Panza didn't want to fight giants. He had just baked a lot of tasty rolls. But Don Quixote convinced him.
Well, that's it then. The mission will fail.
Soon they noticed something huge in the distance. Hooray! It's the giant! This will be our first heroic deed, shouted Don Quixote.
No, there's no way they can beat that giant. They need to be a lot stronger than that.
Hold on, that's not a giant, it's just an old mill, protested Sancho Panza.
I don't understand. Was there a giant or not?
No, it's a giant that turned into an old mill, disagreed Don Quixote, and he charged at it.
Oh, he shouldn't have. He is going to lose.
Of course he lost, because it was a huge, powerful mill. I mean a giant.
See? I told you. He is no knight.
But Don Quixote didn't get upset. I will win next time, he said, feeling the bump on his head.
He will be defeated again. This is a strange game. Story.
Next, Don Quixote fought with an army of bewitched giants. Of course, Sancho Panza thought it was just a large herd of woolly sheep.
No, they've got it all wrong. The knight and the giants don't know what they're doing. That's not how video games work.
Another time, there was this tricky giant that turned into a wild lion. Don Quixote wasn't scared at all, but the lion was scared, so it didn't show up for the fight.
But of course. Well done, Don Quixote. He's not afraid of anyone.
Don Quixote decided to fight all the giants in the world. But Sancho Panza missed his bread so much that he convinced Don Quixote they should return home.
Oh, that's too bad. I thought he would defeat someone in the end.
Back home, Sancho immediately hid all the books about knights, just in case.
Well, I understand why. Because he doesn't want Don Quixote to fight giants anymore. He's a pretty smart guy, if you ask me.
And Don Quixote wrote down all of his adventures, and they came out better than the ones he read about in all of his favorite books. Everyone forgot about those books, but we all still remember Don Quixote.
Well, it's a cool story. I get it. Don Quixote didn't have the skills, but he was super brave.
You know, Mike, You should try writing some stories like this too. You really know how to express yourself.
That's a good idea. Just let me complete this level.
Magic Lantern. Okay, Mike, quit playing that game. We are going to watch a slideshow about love.
What? A show about love? Phew, yuck!
No one cares what you think about it.
It's because you had a crush on Tommy since 5th grade, sitting in a tree. K-I-S-S-I-N-G.
You're the one who has a crush on a girl. Why else would you keep pulling on Mary Collins' ponytail? I know all about it. Mom told me everything. Switching on the Magic Lantern. A Ship with Scarlet Sails. Based on a book by Alexander Grin. Aesel's father made toy ships for a living, and his daughter Aesel would sell the toy ships in the city.
Aesel is her name? What kind of a name is that?
On her way to the city, Aesel would stop and stare at the sea and dream. She dreamt of someday meeting a handsome prince.
Too bad. There aren't enough princes for everyone.
One day, her father made a small ship with beautiful billowing scarlet sails. My prince will come sailing into port on a ship like this, decided Aesel.
That ship looks like my remote-controlled boat.
Everyone in town made fun of her dreams. Look at the princess, they said, and pointed their fingers at her. They laughed at poor Aesel. Well, what do you know? A town that is full of smarty pants just like you. In those days, far, far away, in a magical kingdom, there lived a real prince named Gray. So, real princes do exist. Gray always dreamed of becoming a captain. He would sail around the world and find his true love. Ah, that's so romantic. When Gray finished school, he gathered his crew, packed his belongings, and sailed away on his ship.
Well, it's not like he's trying to find Aesel.
All of a sudden, a terrible storm broke out. Gray had to reach shore immediately.
What for? Aesel isn't there anyway.
He walked ashore, and there he saw Aesel. She was standing near the water, quietly dreaming of her prince, while the wind was blowing through her golden hair.
Wait a minute. What if he doesn't like her? Maybe he would rather meet somebody taller.
Aesel was so beautiful that Gray instantly fell in love.
Whatever.
I get it. You're just jealous because Mary Collins doesn't even want to play with you, does she? Gray went to town to find out more about this beautiful girl. He was told that she's the carpenter's daughter, who spends her time dreaming of silly things, like Scarlet Sails. If you want a girl to love you, you shouldn't pull on her ponytail. You should make her dreams come true instead. Gray realized he had found his soulmate. He went to the store and bought 300 rolls of scarlet silk.
I know. He wants to sew sails to put on his ship.
Aesel decided to go home. No one else was going to buy a toy ship today, and the prince never came. What if princes don't exist? Thought Aesel.
That's nonsense. Princes do exist, right, Kate?
The next day, she stared at the sea again, for no reason in particular. This became her habit.
Kate, why are you sobbing like that? Don't cry.
And suddenly, Aesel saw the ship with the scarlet sails. Aboard the ship was Gray, who waved at her. Aesel approached him. Oh my! All the townspeople exclaimed. She was right after all! Mike, is something the matter? Are you crying too?
Me? No way! I don't cry. I'm not a girl, you know.
Aesel and Gray climbed aboard the ship with scarlet sails and sailed away to the magical kingdom. And Aesel's father sent them brand new toy ships each and every week as gifts for his grandchildren.
Hey, Kate, Do you think Mom will let me give my remote-controlled ship away as a present to someone?
But who would you give the ship to anyway? To Mary? Well, if it really is for her, I guess we can convince Mom. Magic lantern. Mike, enough video games. We're going to watch a slideshow.
Again? But I want to keep playing some more.
Then I won't be your friend anymore.
Ah, who needs to have friends anyway? They only bring trouble.
So, you think no one needs friends? Then I know the perfect slideshow we'll watch today. Switching on the magic lantern. Young D'Artagnan and the Three Musketeers, based on a book by Alexandre Dumas. Young D'Artagnan was known to be very brave, but also very grouchy. So he had a lot of enemies, but no friends at all.
Why do you need friends if you have a sword?
One day, D'Artagnan challenged all his enemies to a duel. They were three musketeers. Modest Athos, brave Porthos, and handsome Aramis.
Enemies are better than friends. With friends, you have to share everything and help them when they're in trouble. Blech.
But Athos, Porthos, and Aramis had enemies too. The evil guards. D'Artagnan didn't like the evil guards at all, so he helped the musketeers.
See how much fun you can have with enemies? Swish, swish, swish.
There were 5 times as many guards as musketeers, but the musketeers battled anyway. In fact, they fought like brave lions.
Lions? Can chickens fight like lions?
The guards got scared and ran away, and D'Artagnan and the musketeers decided to be friends. All for one, said the musketeers. One for all, answered D'Artagnan.
You see what I mean? I don't need any friends at all. I'm fine.
Now, they did everything together. They had hot chocolate with marshmallows together and fought the guards together.
Oh, look, marshmallows, like the ones you had.
The fame about their accomplishments reached the Queen. The Queen sent an order for D'Artagnan to come to her palace at once.
What'd she do that for?
Oh, by the way, I only talk to friends. The Queen really needed some help. The evil guards had managed to steal her favorite parrot, Buckingham.
They're so mean, just like some people here. Right, Kate?
D'Artagnan went to look for the parrot immediately. Athos, Porthos, and Aramis came along because they did everything together.
Okay, if you don't want to talk, then don't.
The guards were waiting in an ambush. Surrender! They yelled, leaping from their hiding places.
It's not fair!
Musketeers never surrender! They replied as they drew their swords and prepared to fight. D'Artagnan rode on ahead by himself. I'm sure the guards won't have fed the parrot. He must be hungry. He worried.
Okay, I agree. He needed his friends, but only that one time.
D'Artagnan finally found the guards who had stolen the parrot Buckingham. But there were too many of them. Looks like D'Artagnan won't be able to fight them alone.
Where are those friends of his now? Never around when you need them. That figures.
But D'Artagnan's friends arrived just in time. Together, they can beat all the guards in the world.
Hooray! Good job, friends.
Buckingham, the little parrot, was saved. He was scared and hungry. D'Artagnan fed him right away.
Okay, you're right. We do need friends. Come on, tell me that you're still talking to me.
Okay, but only for the sake of our friendship. D'Artagnan took the parrot to the Queen right away. She was very happy to see him. And as a reward, she gave the friends a whole box of the best marshmallows in the world.
How about we do it like D'Artagnan? 2 for 1.
And 1 for 2. And D'Artagnan and the Three Musketeers continued to drink hot chocolate with marshmallows for years to come. Even 10 years later. And 20. And 50.
Now's a good time to bring out your marshmallows. You're supposed to share with friends.
Okay, I'll share since we're friends. Magic Lantern. Mike, stop playing those video games. We're going to watch a slideshow.
Hey, I can't now. I'm catching ghosts. I can get super skills for a ghost.
What kind of super skills?
All kinds. I already have superpower and super speed. Now I just need to get the invisibility skill, and then...
Invisibility? Well, that could be a good thing. But not always, you know. Here, take a look at this. Switching on the Magic Lantern, the Little Invisible Man. Based on a book by H.G. Wells. Once upon a time, the circus director, Mr. Smith, and his good friend Baum the Clown were walking in the park.
Just walking? That's it? That's boring!
Hang on, the story is just beginning. Suddenly, they saw wet footprints magically appear on the trail. And they watched as they walked deeper and deeper into the park.
Whoa, how'd that happen?
I told you it would be interesting, didn't I? What is that? This can't be happening, exclaimed Mr. Smith. We need to find out. And they followed the footprints.
They need to hurry, or they're gonna dry up and disappear.
The trail brought them to an isolated house. All of a sudden, the door of the house opened and closed again. But no one came out or went in. Another mystery.
Well, that's really obvious. It's the wind. Or what's it called? A draft.
Come on, a draft? And the footprints on the doorstep, who left them? The draft? The friends decided to stay and see what happened. It's strange. There are footprints, but no one around.
Ah, I know what it is. It's a ghost.
Mike, ghosts only exist in your video game. This story is scientific. Soon, the door of the house opened, and a weird stranger appeared in the doorway. He was wearing a long coat, a hat, and dark glasses.
He seems suspicious.
The friends decided to go up and ask the stranger about the magic footprints they saw.
I wouldn't talk to a person like that. Besides, maybe he doesn't know anything anyway.
But when the stranger saw Mr. Smith and Baum the Clown, he ran away as fast as he could. The friends ran after him.
He knows something!
Mr. Smith caught the stranger by one sleeve, and Baum caught him by the other, and ripped! The stranger's coat split in two.
He's lucky. Now he has two coats.
It's more like he has two half coats. But look, there was no one under the coat. No one at all. Only the hat and the dark glasses floating in the air. The hat and glasses disappeared into a dark alley.
I told you, it was a ghost.
Mike, why does a ghost need a coat and a hat? Crash! Bang! Boom! A terrible noise came from the alley. A figure in a hat and dark glasses showed up, all covered in paint.
What a twist. I don't know what's going on.
That's the stranger! Mr. Smith and Baum the Clown realized.
Wait, the stranger is a ghost?
I am a poor chemistry professor, sighed the stranger. Long ago, I discovered an invisibility fluid and accidentally poured it over myself.
Invisibility fluid? That is so cool! I wish I could have that. Then I would...
Then you would what? You'd gobble up a ton of candy because no one could see you? Ever since then, I've been the invisible man. And if I clean off this paint, I'd be invisible again. And lonely. It's so sad.
I think I would really like that. You just need one fluid to be invisible and another to be visible.
Come join our circus, said Baum and Mr. Smith. The Invisible Man. Magic tricks and mysterious vanishing. The children would love it.
Magic tricks? I love magic tricks.
It's the best place for the Invisible Man. Wow, what a great idea! The stranger was so happy. He joined the circus, and from that day on, he, Mr. Smith, and Bomb the Clown became the best of friends. Well, do you still want to be invisible?
Sure I do, the invisible Mike.
Too bad no one will be able to see you.
Well, then maybe I'll just be a magician, Mike the Magnificent. And then everyone will see me.
Magic Lantern. Mike, enough video games. We're going to watch a slideshow.
But Kate, I just started.
I said you need to turn it off.
I didn't finish exploring the map yet. There's just one more blank spot left.
So you're an explorer, huh? Then here's a slideshow just for you. It's all about the blank spots on the map. Switching on the Magic Lantern. The Very Lost World. Based on a book by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Professor George Challenger often went on long journeys to tropical countries to study butterflies.
But there are no more blank spots left on the map. Our kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Yates, told us so.
While he was on one of those journeys, Professor Challenger stumbled onto a very lost world. One of the amazing things he spotted was an ancient pterodactyl high above the trees.
Pterodactyl? But I thought that they're all extinct.
Other scientists didn't believe Professor Challenger. "Challenger, you need glasses," they shouted. "Pterodactyls are long gone from this world."
I told you so.
I believe the professor. "You're all wrong," said Challenger. "I will prove that I am right. Who's coming with me to the very lost world?" "I am," said Edward Chickens.
There's no such place as the lost world. That's all a lie.
Challenger and Chickens packed lots of supplies into huge backpacks and finally set off on their adventure.
There's only gonna be butterflies there.
They sailed down rivers, hiked across mountains, climbed into canyons, and finally they reached the very lost world. But there were no pterodactyls to be found.
I knew it.
They were so upset they lost their appetite and went to bed without dinner. Were the other scientists right? All the pterodactyls went extinct? Chickens was really worried.
Of course they went extinct. I want a new story. This one's boring.
But early in the morning, they heard a great flapping of wings and gritting of teeth. Hooray! A pterodactyl!
Really?
Run before it eats you! Yelled Challenger and ran away. Chickens ran after him.
It's not only very lost, but also a very dangerous world.
Too bad no one is going to believe us, yelled Chickens as he ran. They will! Of course they will! Answered Challenger, catching his breath.
They have to catch it!
Challenger took out a big butterfly net. He suddenly stopped, turned around, and held the net up. The pterodactyl flew right into the net.
Yay! Got you, you monster!
Challenger and Chickens put a muzzle on the pterodactyl so that it couldn't bite. Then they got on its back. "Fly home!" said Challenger, and the pterodactyl obeyed.
This adventure is pretty cool.
The pterodactyl brought Challenger and Chickens right to where the scientists were having a meeting.
Now we'll see if they believe us.
The scientists were very scared. One of them even fainted. "Do you believe me now?" said Challenger. "Yes, we believe you. Now please, just get it out of here," they begged.
That'll teach you.
Challenger and Chickens got off the pterodactyl and off it flew, heading home and grinding its teeth on the way.
I wonder where its home is. Where is that very lost world?
Professor Challenger went back to studying butterflies, and Edward Chickens decided that he was going to write a book. A book in which he described his interesting adventures in the very lost world. Mike, where are you going?
Where? I'm going to travel. Do you know how many blank spots there are on the map? What if someone else discovers them while I'm sitting here playing video games?
Magic Lantern. Mike, turn off the video game. We're going to watch a slideshow.
Come on, Kate. Why do we have to do it right now?
I've had enough of your monsters.
You're just scared, that's all. You should have said so. Kate is a crybaby. Kate is a crybaby.
Oh, really? So it's me who's afraid of the dark? Or hides from frogs sitting in trees? Okay then, I will find the perfect slideshow for you to watch, and then we'll finally see which one of us is scared. Just you wait, Mr. Smarty Pants. Switching on the Magic Lantern. The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, based on a book by Washington Irving. A long time ago, in a town called Little Sleepy Hollow, there lived a man by the name of Crane, who was always afraid.
Yeah, okay, so what does all that have to do with me?
Once, Crane saw a frog in the swamp and got so scared that he didn't go out of his house for 3 days.
I'm not like him. Last year when I climbed up the tree, there was a toad up there. So see, I'm not afraid of frogs at all.
One day, Mr. Crane went to a club to dance, and there he met a beautiful girl named Katrina.
I'm not afraid of anything.
Mr. Crane liked Katrina a lot. I wish I could have a wife like her, thought Mr. Crane. Everyone would be jealous of me then.
I could watch 1,000 stories like this and not be afraid for a second.
But Crane was not the only one who liked Katrina. The musician named Barnes liked her too.
See? I'm not scared at all.
So Mr. Crane began bragging that he was the bravest man in all of Little Sleepy Hollow. He did it so that Katrina would like him. Hey Mike, is your last name Crane by any chance? So Mr. Crane told everybody that one day, while he was walking along a trail, he saw a horseman who didn't have a head, but he was not afraid. That's how much he lied.
What do you mean he didn't have a head?
You are so brave, Mr. Crane, said Katrina. Well, are you scared yet?
Me? Never.
But the musician Barnes did not believe Crane. I kind of don't believe you either, Mike. Soon, the dance was over, and Mr. Crane went back to his house.
Why are the trees so scary like that? I mean, black.
Suddenly, Mr. Crane saw a horseman. The horseman had his head not on his neck where it's supposed to be, but in his hand. And his eyes were glowing brightly as if they were burning.
That's enough, Kate. Turn it off. I'd rather have monsters than this creature.
The horse galloped straight at Mr. Crane. Mr. Crane turned and ran away in terror.
Turn it off, I'm telling you. I'm not gonna be able to sleep for a week.
Suddenly, the horseman rose on his saddle and threw his head right at Mr. Crane.
Okay, you're not a crybaby. You're not. I don't want to watch anymore.
Don't worry about it, Mike. The scariest part is over now, okay? Anyway, ever since that day, no one in Little Sleepy Hollow saw Mr. Crane again. Some people say he moved away to another city and was never heard bragging about his bravery again.
If I were him, I would have gone far away too.
The next day, on the same place where Crane met the horseman, they found a squashed pumpkin and an accordion owned by the musician Barnes. What it means and how it all got there in the first place, no one ever figured out.
Kate, tell me something. What was a squash pumpkin doing there?
The accordion player Barnes married Katrina, and they lived happily in Little Sleepy Hollow. And every time he saw a pumpkin somewhere, he would smile just a bit. I wonder why.
So wait a minute, you mean Barnes set the whole thing up? So there really is no man without a head riding a horse. I told you so. You said it was a scary story, but it wasn't.
Well, then maybe we can watch it one more time.
Actually, not right now. Maybe we'll do it another time.
Magic Lantern. Mike, quit playing. We're going to watch a slideshow.
Kate, I just made it to the next level. Underwater.
Would you like to see who actually lives in an underwater world?
Yes, of course I would. Who wouldn't wanna? What could be more interesting than that?
Okay, then. Let's watch a slideshow about the inhabitants of the underwater world. Switching on the magic lantern. Many Miles Under the Sea. Based on a book by Jules Verne. One day, Professor Aronnax came across a very interesting article while reading the newspaper. It said that there was a giant whale somewhere in the sea that attacked ships and swallowed them whole. Well, what do you think?
It's just a newspaper. They can tell lies in newspapers.
The professor invited his best friend, Whaler Ned. We will journey out there and catch that whale, decided the friends.
There might not even be a whale there.
They got on a ship, loaded a huge whaling cannon, and sailed off to the sea. Suddenly, they saw something big in the distance. It's a whale! The friends exclaimed. It wants to swallow our ship. Whaler Ned went to the cannon and took aim.
The whale from the newspaper! That's the one!
But before Ned fired the cannon, a strong blow shook their ship.
Oh, be careful!
The friends fell into the water and were drowning. The waves covered their heads.
No! Is that it? Is it the end?
Mike, don't interrupt, just watch. When the friends woke up, everything was dry and bright. We didn't drown, they figured. But where are we?
Yeah, where are they?
You are on my submarine. My name is Captain Nemo.
Phew, so this is a slideshow about a submarine. I thought there would be monsters.
Mike, just watch the rest. Let us go at once, said the friends. But you are not prisoners, replied Nemo. Your ship collided with my submarine by accident, and I was able to save you. Would either of you care for some tea?
He's kind, isn't he?
If you're so friendly, why do you need the cannon? Aren't cannons used for attacking ships?
Why do they need the cannon, Kate?
Just watch. Suddenly, a giant octopus attacked the submarine and started dragging it down all the way to the bottom of the sea.
That's some monster!
Friends got very scared. But Captain Nemo fired at the octopus, and the octopus swam away scared.
Good for you, Captain Nemo. I would sure want to have him on my team.
But would he want you? The friends were very happy that Nemo's ship was not swallowed. And Nemo made tea for them and showed them all the beautiful things the deep sea has to offer.
Wow, that's so amazing!
And he even told them where some long-lost treasures from sunken ships were.
That's awesome! He's great!
And then he took them right home. The friends said goodbye to Captain Nemo and were very happy to have met him.
Did they find any treasures?
Mike, Friendship is the real treasure. Don't you get the message of the story?
And what about gold and diamonds? Aren't they real?
Professor Aronnax wrote an interesting book about all their adventures. And then he decided to measure how many miles they sailed under the sea, and found out that they had sailed a lot. So, he named his book, So Many Miles Under the Sea.
Kate, do we have that book here?
Sure, of course we do.
Will you read it to me?
So, you really liked it?
Well, yeah, sure, but I was wondering if Captain Nemo gave them all the treasures, or maybe there's a couple left.
Magic Lantern. Mike, turn off the video game. We are going to watch a slideshow.
No, Kate, I really want to play. I do.
How long are you going to play? You've been playing all day long.
I'm still a little kid. Little kids aren't supposed to do anything else.
Well, let's watch a slideshow and learn exactly what little kids are supposed to do. Switching on the magic lantern. In Search of the Castaways, based on a book by Jules Verne. One day, Captain Grant boarded his ship and sailed off to discover new seas and oceans. His children, Robert and Mary, stayed at home to wait for his return. "You are still too little," the captain said to them.
See? They don't do anything. They just stay home. I can stay home like that too.
Robert went fishing to try and catch dinner, and Mary took care of the house.
What does that mean, took care of the house? Was something wrong with it?
One day, Robert was fishing on his raft, and all of a sudden, he caught a big fish.
I went fishing with Dad too.
Yeah, but you didn't catch anything. Inside the fish, he found a bottle with a note in it. It was from Captain Grant.
Well, he was lucky to find it.
Captain Grant said in his note that his ship had sunk and that he was on an uninhabited island. He even drew a map, but the seawater smudged its name, so they couldn't read it.
Well, it's a good thing the kids stayed at home. It's not as scary.
Let's sail to all uninhabited islands and save our father. You would have just sat down and played a video game. Robert and Mary got on their raft and sailed to the nearest uninhabited island.
They are really brave. I would have done that too, if I had a raft.
Suddenly, pirates surrounded them. "Give up! We're taking all the boys and girls as our prisoners." What do you think you'd do at that moment, Mike?
Me? I would...
But Robert didn't lose his head. He showed a hunting gun to the pirates. "Do you see what I have right here?" Were you expecting that, Mike?
I would have done that too, if I had a gun.
The pirates got scared and jumped into the sea. "The boy has a gun!" they yelled. "Save yourselves!"
Haha, it serves them right.
Robert and Mary got on board the pirate ship. "With a ship like this, we'll find our father real soon."
I would have found him too. You know, if I had a ship.
Suddenly, they heard a voice. It was coming from the hold. "There's someone down there," said the kids.
Wow, I guess not all the pirates ran away.
It was little Bimbo. The pirates took him prisoner and put him in the hold. You should brush your teeth without being told.
What's that have to do with it?
Nothing. Just saying. Robert and Mary told Bimbo about what happened to their father and showed him the map. "It's the Lonely Palm Island. I know it!" exclaimed Bimbo. "Let's sail to Captain Grant."
Wow. See, Kate? He's so little and he can read maps.
And he knows the islands. Soon, the friends spotted the Lonely Palm Island. and Captain Grant himself greeted them on the shore. Everyone was very happy. Enough, Mike.
What's wrong? I'm just saying I would be happy too.
Then everyone got on the ship and they sailed to discover new seas and oceans. And the captain never again said to his children, "You're too little."
Yeah, and I'm not little either.
Oh, Mike, 5 minutes ago, you were little. Amazing how fast you grew up. How do you do that so quickly?
Actually, I sailed away to an uninhabited island so I could find Captain Grant. Well, in a way.
Magic Lantern. Okay, Mike, turn off the video game. Now we're going to watch a slideshow.
No, I will not turn it off.
Mike, a boy should always respect a girl's request.
Oh, really? Says who? Why should I even care about that? I'm not quitting, you know. The knights need me right now.
Oh, Mike, you're still so far from becoming a knight. Now get ready, and I'll show you the proper way that you should treat girls with respect. Okay, switching on the magic lantern. The True Knight Ivanhoe, based on a book by Sir Walter Scott. Ever since his childhood, little Ivanhoe used to give away his seat to girls and help old ladies cross the street whenever they needed it. He is a true knight, they said about Ivanhoe.
No way! A true knight is one who has shiny armor and a sword.
Anyway, the knight Ivanhoe liked the beautiful Rowena, who lived in the neighborhood and often walked by.
Come on, everyone knows that knights are never interested in girls.
And the sneaky Brian lived close to the both of them. He was greedy and wicked. And he also liked Rowena a lot.
It's only Rowena, and what's so special about her anyway?
When Ivanhoe grew up, he became a true knight. He immediately left to go on his heroic quests. This is the tradition for true knights.
Yeah, I've heard that before. All knights go on quests. It's what a knight does.
Ivanhoe went on numerous quests and was gone from home for a long time. Meanwhile, Rowena was alone in the castle and was sad.
So what? Why should he worry about her? His quests will keep him busy.
The sneaky Brian was happy. Rowena would soon forget about Ivanhoe.
Ivanhoe will be the one to forget about Rowena. What does he need her for?
One day, Brian came galloping to Rowena's house and said, "Rowena, marry me!"
No way! Forget it!
"The one who I marry must be a true knight," said Rowena.
She means Ivanhoe, but he's too busy to get married. Oh well.
"That's great," said the sneaky Brian. "I will organize a tournament for true knights and will defeat all the rivals."
Yes! Let there be a tournament!
Brian quickly defeated all the rivals and was already celebrating his victory when another knight suddenly arrived. He was wearing a cloak of crimson and white and an iron helmet.
Wow, who is that?
The rivals rushed at each other. A blow, then another, and the defeated Brian fell to the ground.
Yeah, serves you right.
The winner took off his helmet. "Ivanhoe!" Everybody shouted joyfully.
Ivanhoe! Why did he come back?
But the sneaky Brian suddenly woke up, captured Rowena, and dragged her to his castle. "If there's even a little knighthood in you, come out and fight me!" Ivanhoe shouted to Brian.
Hold on, did he get mad because of Rowena?
Brian was ashamed for his behavior, and he came out to fight Ivanhoe.
You'd have to be a strange knight to fight for a girl.
And Ivanhoe defeated Brian once again. No, Mike, he is not a strange knight. He is a true knight. Some knights would not even turn off a video game for a girl, let alone fight for one. Then Ivanhoe married the beautiful Rowena. And again, he embarked on his way to go on heroic quests. As you know, this is the tradition. True knights.
Okay. I granted your wish. We watched your slideshow, and now it's time to go on my quest. I'm turning the video game back on.
Magic Lantern. Mike, stop playing. Let's watch a slideshow.
Not now, Kate. I finally just made it to a new level. And they actually have real miracles on this one.
Oh, so you like miracles, Mike?
Sure I do. The more miracles there are, the better.
Oh, well, that's great. So we'll be watching a slideshow about miracles. About the ones you'll never see in your video games. Okay? Switching on the Magic Lantern. Alice in Wonderland. Based on a book by Lewis Carroll. One day, Alice was sitting by the river and was feeling bored.
Sitting and feeling bored? Ha! You call that a miracle?
Mike, don't get smart with me, okay? Suddenly, a white rabbit ran by her. Oops, I'm late, said the rabbit as he looked at his watch and slid into his hole.
A rabbit with a watch?
A rabbit with a watch? Wondered Alice as she rushed after him.
Is she going to crawl into that hole?
The hole turned out to be very deep. This way you can fly all the way through the earth, Alice thought, but then her feet touched the ground.
And where did she end up?
Alice found herself in a room with a small door. There were 2 pies on a table nearby. Alice picked up one of the pies and took a bite.
Kate, why did she eat the pie? Was she hungry?
Suddenly, her hands and feet grew very big. The pies were magic. Then Alice picked up the other pie and took another bite.
Real magic pies? How cool!
Well, it's a miracle, huh?
Yeah.
Now, Alice became so small that she could easily enter the garden with the giant flowers. What a wonderful country!
And what country is it? What is it called?
This wonderful country is called Wonderland. And again, the white rabbit was running and ran past Alice. I'm late, repeated the rabbit. What is he late for?
Yeah, Kate. What is he late for?
Visiting the Queen, said the cat in a tree. I am the Cheshire Cat, he introduced himself, and I can smile.
Kate, look, I can smile too.
And I can also disappear, said the cat as he disappeared, leaving only his smile behind. More and more wonderful, thought Alice.
Too bad our cat can't do that. Angus, let's see you disappear.
Then Alice saw the guards, who were painting the white roses with red paint. If the Queen finds out that we planted white roses instead of red ones, we will go to prison. Don't be ridiculous. You don't go to prison for that.
Of course you don't. They make people happy. Remember, Dad gave white roses to Mom and she was happy.
Then the king, the queen, the guards with halberds, and the white rabbit arrived at the garden.
Kate, what is a halberd?
It's a kind of axe. Now keep watching. White roses? Shouted the queen. Who allowed this? You will go to prison. It's her, said the white rabbit, pointing at Alice.
But Kate, it wasn't her.
No, it wasn't me, said Alice, waving her hands. but the guards surrounded her.
It wasn't her!
Alice started waving her hands faster. The wind made the guards fly and spin in the air. Your paper drawings, Alice guessed.
Wait a second, they're not real?
Then Alice realized that she was sitting under a tree and waving away the falling leaves. So this was just a dream. She was pleased. Then the white rabbit ran by her once again.
So this was a dream?
A dream, Mike? Then where did the rabbit come from? Did she fall asleep all over again?
So this wasn't a dream? This is pretty confusing if you ask me.
Then maybe we'll watch it again tomorrow. What do you think?
Sounds good.
Magic Lantern. Okay, Mike, put away the video game. Now we're going to watch a slideshow.
I can't. This game is way too interesting.
And what's so interesting about it anyway?
Aliens from Mars are coming down in their flying saucer now.
So, you're interested in seeing what aliens that come from Mars would look like? I have a slideshow here that is perfect for those who are looking forward to seeing Martians. Are you ready to begin? Switching on the Magic Lantern. The War of the Worlds, based on a book by H.G. Wells. Mr. Herbert liked to look through the telescope a lot. He wanted to see if he could find any aliens living on distant planets.
Dad said he's gonna give me a telescope on my birthday.
Every day, he would transmit a message into space. Beep, 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 which meant, "Dear aliens, please come here and join me for a cup of tea with milk and biscuits."
What if the tea didn't have milk? I don't like milk.
One day, Herbert noticed some flashes on the surface of Mars. The Martians probably got the invitation I sent them, he thought.
All right, way to go, Kate. You finally found a good slideshow. Okay, let's see some more.
Herbert put the kettle on the stove and hurried out. Soon, he saw a meteorite falling from the sky.
It's not a meteorite, it's their flying saucer.
A door opened inside the meteorite. It's a spacecraft, guessed Herbert.
I told you, didn't I? Okay, you Martians, it's time to show yourselves.
Tentacles appeared to come out from inside the spacecraft. And soon, a Martian came wandering out.
Is that a Martian? What about the little green men?
Welcome! The tea is already on the stove, Herbert was going to say, but the Martian looked at Herbert, took a sniff, and licked his lips like a predator.
Actually, I don't think I like him.
But he definitely likes you, how you taste. The Martian seemed to be preparing to eat Herbert. He got ready to jump and opened his mouth, showing his teeth.
He got confused, that's all. He was invited to have some tea, not to eat a whole dinner.
I think I'll have to hold off on the tea for now, thought Herbert, and then started running. The Martian ran after him.
So we all really want to meet these aliens, and then they decide to come down here and eat us.
Herbert ran into the kitchen and looked for a weapon. There was no weapon, only a box of biscuits.
You'd better watch out. Hit him with a frying pan or something.
The scary head of the Martian showed up in the window. Herbert grabbed the box of biscuits and threw it directly into the monster's mouth.
I hope they make him sick to his stomach.
The Martian got angry. Then he was surprised, and he cheered right up. The biscuits turned out to be very delicious, even more delicious than Mr. Herbert.
Phew, safe.
Mr. Herbert was also happy that everything turned out to be so good that he offered the Martian a cup of tea with milk.
He shouldn't offer him such a disgusting drink, or he'll make the Martian angry.
While having the third cup, the Martian and Herbert became friends.
Sure they did. One friend wants to eat up the other one. Like that would happen.
Herbert asked the Martian to go back home and gave him 3 boxes of biscuits for his journey. The Martian happily agreed.
I would have given him more than that. Even the telescope that Dad said he's going to give me on my birthday.
Then how are you planning on looking for aliens without using a telescope?
No more aliens for me.
From that point onward, Mr. Herbert never sent any signals to space. You never know who would actually show up. Instead, he wrote books about Martians, and he did that very well.
I'm gonna write a book too. Except in my book, Martians will definitely be very friendly little green men who don't want to eat people.